Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday edition of your Breakfast from Leadership Television inside Nigeria. Today is January 7th, 2025, Tuesday. My name is Winifred Dugbebo, your host on the program. On today's show, we'll be looking at front headline stories of some select newspapers, including Nigeria's most influential leadership. Let's go with leadership and see what leadership is offering today in its paper. Starting with headline story. The main headline story on leadership today says growing concern over quality of private schools. Proprietors compromise standards, use cheap labor. Stakeholders blame poor funding of public schools. 80% of secondary schools privately owned. NSSEC. Of course, we have pictures of students' resumption or pupils' resumption all across the nation underneath that leading story. We have school children returns to school across the country yesterday. Pupils from Lagos, Kaduna, Ibadan, and Abuja were captured on this photo. Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau announces plan to resign. The story is on page 4 of Leadership. Sokoto SSG loses daughter, three grandchildren to Ifeno. May the souls of the departed rest in peace. Two kids injured in Abuja school explosion. SEP opens applications for 2025. That takes us gradually to the man's head. Wike vows to prosecute vandals for manhole cover theft. This is a viral video that is trending on social media. There we saw a man that was with a space wagon collecting manhole cover in the dead of the night. Wike vows to prosecute them. And just on the business buzz of leadership, onion farmers blame price hike, scarcity on flood, climate change. The Onion Producers, Processors and Marketers Association of Nigeria, OPMAN, has explained the upsurge in the price of onions and the scarcity of the produce in the country. The price of onions in Nigeria skyrocketed in 2024, climbing as high as 108% compared to the previous year. In Lagos, a bag of onions that cost 130,000 naira in December 2023 soared to 270,000 naira by December 2024. Meanwhile, individual bulbs of the staple that once sold for 50 naira now fetch 500 naira, leaving consumers and traders grappling with the impact, especially during the just concluded festive period. Stories for that headline story on the business buzz. Onion farmers blame price hike, scarcity on flood, climate change. And above the masthead of leadership, no conflict between Emir of Ilorin, Kwara Governor, Palace. Budget defense, reps read riot act to ministers' orders. The story continues on page 16 of leadership, even as we move to the page 3 of the paper for today's stand is on the crisis and vice chancellor appointments as stand today. In pursuit of viable and smooth operations of its own universities, the federal government initiated legal instruments for their administrative autonomy several years ago. The initiative led to the passage of the Universities Miscellaneous Provisions Amendment Act, which empowers these institutions to discharge their functions and exercise their responsibilities without undue external interference. These are snipers from that stand today on leadership newspaper on page 3. Our stand, the crisis in vice chancellor appointment. From our stand, we move to the Tuesday column with Abdurrauf Aliyu on the back page of the paper. And is asking, is 2025 Nigeria's year to win? Is a question you'll find answers to when you log on to the website to read the column. And in quote, it says, for Nigeria to succeed in 2025, it must adopt a mindset of playing to win. This mindset involves creating a clear, actionable vision for the future, encompassing leadership in innovation, sustainability, and diversification. Quote from Tuesday's column is 2025 Nigeria's year to win. As I said earlier, log on to the website for continuation of that column. Front headline stories, our stand, and inside stories on www.leadership.ng. From leadership, we move over to the next paper we have on our menu this Tuesday, and that is Vanguard. Vanguard says thousands face life-threatening ailments from lead poisoning. Varsity dons, medical practitioners, farmers raise concern. Ebonyi government flays federal government for poor supervision of miners. Laments miners fail to implement agreements with communities to provide amenities. I'll take that again. Thousands face life-threatening ailments from lead poisoning. Varsity dons, medical practitioners, farmers raise concern. Ebonyi government flays federal government for poor supervision of miners. Laments miners fail to implement agreements with communities to provide amenities. Leading story on Vanguard. Two killed, two others injured as explosion rocks school in Abuja. Akume, Oton's latest political romance worries North Central APC. Peter Obi says I received threat messages. Obedience raised alarm over APC's threat to Obi's life businesses. APC absorbs spokesman. Army neutralizes two for allegedly killing four soldiers, abducting two. Court grants 10 million naira bail to lady detained for threatening Tinubu's son, IGP. And in sports, Osimhen is highest rated player in Turkish Super League. That takes us to the stories above the masthead of Vanguard. After NEC approval, Aba Power hikes electricity tariff by 120%. After NEC approval, Aba Power hikes electricity tariff by 120%. Suspension of local government chairmen. Court orders Okpebolo Edo Assembly to maintain status quo. EFCC fires 27 officers over alleged corruption. Sokoto SSG loses daughter, three grandchildren, house help to fire. The story is on page 6 of Vanguard. For continuation of these headline stories and inside stories on Vanguard today, log on to the website www.vanguardngro.com. From Vanguard, we move over to the Blueprint. Blueprint has many stories on its cover today. We'll take them one by one, starting from the main leading story. Presidential Committee on Tax Reforms. We wrote 6 governors. Ole Ubasani Sanwo-Olu met us. Says others have no time for us. Governors Forum invited us. Cancelled appointments 4 times, coming from Oladele. The raging controversies over the tax reform bills doesn't appear to be abating as the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, faulted claims in some quarters that the panel was not all-inclusive and didn't consult widely with the governors. He said despite several virtues made to the governors, only Kaduna State Governor Ubasani and his Lagos counterpart Babajide Sanwo-Olu honor the committee's appointments. Prominent northern groups and major stakeholders, including the Northern Governors Forum (NGF) as well as the Northern Elders Forum (NEF), among others, have consistently expressed their opposition to the bill. These are paragraphs to the main headline story today on Blueprint newspaper, coming from Oyedele Oladele, that is Taiwo Oyedele, the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. He said we wrote 6 governors. Ole Obasani Sanwo-Olu met us. Says others have no time for us. Governors Forum invited us, cancelled appointments 4 times. Beneath that main headline story is another second leading story on Blueprint newspaper. Abuja school explosion kills 2 students, injures 4. Police confirm 18 injured in Port Harcourt gas explosion. EFCC dismisses 27 officers for fraudulent activity misconduct. Police arrest 50 suspected vandals in Abuja. Nigeria records 63.7% surge in diaspora remittances 2024. Ibadan stampede. O needs earth queen. Agidigbo boss principal must face trial, coming from Oyo State Government (OYSG). 2025 budget. Senate to suspend plenary for 2 weeks on resumption. Now says January 31 as tentative date for passage. Beneath the masthead of Blueprint, Makinde alleges bandits relocating to Oyo from northwest. Business: Port Harcourt Warri refineries will boost naira value, address forex challenges. Sports: CHAN that is Sports: CHAN home Eagles shine at tournament, coming from captain. And above the masthead of Blueprint, Aikid Okada rider sold machine for 310,000 naira in Niger, coming from the suspect. The story runs on page 6 of Blueprint newspaper. For continuation of these headline stories, log on to the website of Blueprint, www.blueprint.ng. From Blueprint, we move to the next paper we have on our menu, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian's main headline story this Tuesday, January 7, 2025 says 3 million barrel per day target, 49.7 trillion naira budget rests on new FIDs, secure oil assets. 3 million barrel per day target, 49.7 trillion naira budget rests on new FIDs, secure oil assets. The illustration beneath this leading story has it: oil production 2.06 million barrel per day, exchange rate 1,500 naira per dollar, and inflation at 15%. 2024 oil production data: we have January 2024 1.42 million barrel per day. February we had 1.32 million barrel per day. March 1.23 million barrel per day. April we had 1.28 million barrel per day. May 1.25 million barrel per day. June 1.276 million. July 1.307 million. August 1.4 million barrel. September 1.32 million. October 1.53, and November we had 1.7 million barrel per day. These are oil production data of captured last year, and the data is from OPEC and NUPRC. Illustration beneath the main headline story: 3 million barrel per day target, 49.7 trillion naira budget rests on new FIDs and secure oil assets. Headline story today on The Guardian. However, the exchange rate on the budget puts it at 1,500 per dollar, and oil production 2.06 million barrel per day, and inflation rate of 15%. Well, we sincerely pray this works out. Underneath that main headline story, we have 80 bandits killed in Katsina as hoodlums levy Zamfara communities. MDA's defense spending as NAS eyes January ending for budget approval. Local government: court orders Okpebholo House to maintain status quo. Have I really crossed the line? Obi queries alleged threat to life. Culprits of Ibadan stampede must face trial, Makinde vows. Lassa fever: NCDC experts raise alarm, advocate prevention, early treatment. Medical lab scientists in limbo over AAU-MLSCN quota rule. The story continues on page 4 of The Guardian, even as we conclude the review of front headline stories on The Guardian this Tuesday. For more, log on to www.guardian.ng. We move to the last paper we have on our menu this Tuesday, and that is The Punch. Punch story says New Year message: APC tackles obedience as Obi alleges threat to life. Obi playing politics of bitterness, says APC. Nigerian transforming into repressive regime as governor. Proprietor arrested as two killed in Abuja school explosion. The story is on page 5 of The Punch. 33 ex-workers use CBN over sacking, demand 30 billion naira. 50 suspected manhole thieves, vandals arrested in FCT, steel firm indicted. Government mourns SSD's doctor, freed grandchildren killed in Sokoto night fire. 6 soldiers killed in Boko Haram attack on Bono military base. The story is on page 15 of the paper. And beside the masthead of The Punch, Northwest bandits flee to Oyo, Makinde cries out. Above the masthead, retirement: top generals get $20,000 medical allowance, bulletproof SUV orders. OAGF indicts NNPCL in 514 billion naira transactions. Trump proposes US-Canada merger as Trudeau resigns. That also concludes a review of front headline stories on the Punch this Tuesday, January 7, 2025. For continuation of these headline stories on Punch today, log on to the website of the Punch, www.punchng.com. Well, viewers, on that note, we also conclude and draw the curtain on today's program, Inside Nigeria, breakfast show on Leadership Television. Don't forget to join us same time, same station for another fresh edition of the program. My name is Winifred Ugbebo. Thanks for joining us.
Get ready for the Leadership Awards and Conference 2024. Join us as we celebrate excellence across various fields, honoring those who've made remarkable impacts. Award categories include Person of the Year, Quinquennial Award for Governance and Infrastructure, Governors of the Year, Business Person of the Year, and many more. Stay updated by following us on social media and visiting our website, leadership.ng. For sponsorship and inquiries, contact us today. Leadership Award and Conference 2024, celebrating excellence, inspiring the future.
For watching, for sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.